As you're entering in, I should have put something in the description. Feel free to put in any questions that you have for my live stream today as I get things set up. Oops. Ohio, Pennsylvania. I think that's all I need. Oops. Okay. Alright guys, so hopefully the connection will be much better better than yesterday, because last night my family members were working in the basement, and my theory is that the sound kind of made the internet fiber wobbly, I think. That's just my theory. With the saws. Hopefully it will be better than yesterday's live stream. As you are coming in, put in any questions that you have, and I will answer some questions about time. So I'm going to put a list of boundaries that I want to set before we start. Okay. Hopefully I can get some people on here soon as I finish getting set up here. I'm going to need that, this one, these will be the 3. Much earlier. Okay, so we are going to get started now. Or maybe. I got some background noise, so just bear with me. All right, we will get started here in just a bit. I want to make sure everything's good. All right, guys, we will get started now. So I hope you can hear me now, and I hope the connection, as I mentioned earlier, will be better than I had yesterday when my family members are working in the basement to have our bedrooms built. So we will get started now. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Oop, I almost pressed the finish button. I'm going to do the application window. Okay, so first off, we're going to continue this movement of the Indiana Central Time Movement, ICT. We're going to start by pointing out why Indiana is in the wrong time zone here. So first off, it naturally lays in the Central Time Zone, which is, to me, is a vague statement for me, because I don't have much detail about this map, but this shows the natural time zones. So we have the Atlantic, which is very small, Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific. We basically have 5 natural time zones in the state of Indiana, but the smallest one we have is the Atlantic time zone. So I'm going to tell you the side effects of daylight saving time. So before I move on, I'm going to show you some benefits that people experience when they have daylight saving. So first off, they experience longer sunlight time in the evening. And for me, I get to ride my bike home from work after a good 4 hours in the summertime. And I got to walk to Huddles. Well, I got to walk to a frozen yogurt store when it was still sunlight out. Okay, so with that, we'll move on to the side effects of daylight saving time. So as I mentioned yesterday, daylight saving times eliminate bright morning light that is crucial to synchronizing your biological clock, possibly putting people at increased risk. It definitely puts people at increased risk of heart attack, stroke, car accidents, and other harmful effects of sleep deprivation. So the side effects that some people will most likely experience is acne, because before I get to that, I'm going to explain why heart attacks occur during daylight savings, especially the transition. So first of all, you lose 1 hour of sleep, which means that your body is not going through the entire cycle of repairing itself for any damage that has occurred the night before. And the same goes with acne. So it's all because of stress. When you don't get enough sleep, your body's not repairing itself through the full cycle to repair any stress that it has occurred. So with that, so it's not 1 hour twice a year. It's misalignment of our biological clocks for 8 months of the year, she said. When we talk about daylight relationship to time, we're talking about a profound impacts on the biological clock, which is a structure rooted in the brain. It impacts brain functions such as energy levels and alertness. In a commentary published in the journal JAMA Neurology, Mo and her colleagues summarized large epidemiological studies that support a halt of setting clocks forward or back. Some people have more flexible circadian rhythms and adjust more quickly, while others are more affected by the switch to and from daylight saving time, including children and people with neurological conditions, Mallow said. There's evidence that even slight time disruptions like living on different sides of time zones can be enough to affect a person's circadian rhythm, according to Mallow. While many sleep experts believe that doing away with time changes is a good idea, the U.S. federal government isn't considering such any move. However, many states are taking action. Since 2015, several states have passed DST exemption laws. So a few weeks ago, I contacted my state legislature about this problem that we have, moving Indiana to Central Time and abolishing daylight saving time, which is what we need here in the state of Indiana. Because I do not want to keep waking up in pitch black darkness that we have here in the state of Indiana. So I'm going to go back to my screen here. So I still don't have any. So I have no people here, but I'm going to keep going. So one of the side effects, I don't need to keep. So as I mentioned earlier, I contacted one of my state legislatures and a two-part message about daylight saving time. The first part was Central Time especially and abolishing daylight saving time. And sometime later, well, to this day, I never got a message back. I did have a phone number that came up to me yesterday, but I did not know that number. All right. So anyways, so if I was president of the United States, as I mentioned yesterday, well, I'm going to read this. The U.S. federal government isn't considering any such move. So you're much better represented in a smaller type of government than you were to be in a bigger type of government. That's what my dad told me. Okay, so on to the next tab here. Well, 4 tabs. We'll start with Indiana. So the sunrise for tomorrow is 7:57 a.m. We'll take a look at New Jersey. 7:10. So Indiana in Central Time should be 6:57 a.m. Central Standard Time. Let's go back to the map here. Look, we're in the Central Time Zone. In the winter time, the sun should pretty much always rise at around 7:10, a little past 7:10 in the morning. And that is good because we have students waking up not seeing any pitch black darkness outside. So if you are on this live stream right now, fun question. Who here hates up seeing that the outside is still pitch black, especially in the wintertime? I'm going to go back to the screen here. Still got no people here. Yeah. Stop sharing for a little bit. Yeah, I do not have any. I'll just keep going. Just the application window. Let's look at Ohio. So as I mentioned yesterday, Ohio is a border state, as you can see here. There's almost a split there's almost the exact 50-50 split between Central Time and Eastern Time. So if I were to work with Congress as president, I don't need to keep saying that, we would do a 30-minute transition between Central and Eastern Time. So if I were to name that time zone, I would just name it Ohio time, which is between Central and Eastern Time. We'll look at Pennsylvania and New Jersey. With Pennsylvania and New Jersey, it's close. They're just 2 minutes apart. With Pennsylvania and New Jersey, this is the correct time for the sun to rise. But with Indiana, it's too far away. And if we were to subtract this by 30, it would be 717. But that's not what we need. We need to subtract this by 1 hour, 657. It would be so much easier for high school students to wake up early because the sun is rising before they are waking up. And that is good because we don't have children waiting outside of the school buses in the cold, in pitch black darkness. And there could be people hiding in various bushes behind the bus stop, harming children, and there are cars out there that, especially not working headlights, it's very hard for them to see around them, especially if they can't see what's around him or her or the driver. And if we look at New Jersey and Pennsylvania, this is the time zone these are the times that Indiana needs to be close to, because we cannot have our elementary school students waiting for the school bus in pitch black darkness. And another benefit to having Central Time in Indiana is that we wouldn't need 2-hour delays here in the state of Indiana. Instead, we would just be 1 hour delay. And it saves so much money according to Central Indiana for HoosiersForCentralTime.com. So we will move on to this tab right here. I should have connected this to this one. There we go. So these are the times that we have now, and people are much better off living in Texas, in Dallas, and in Houston, because you're not much better living off. Wait a second. Oh yes, Central Time. They're much better off living in this region because it's in its natural time zone. So we have Central Time, Mountain Time. So we'll move on to this website. So circadian rhythms. So Science Daily. If you want to see this website, make sure to go to HoosiersForCentralTime.com/education/HTML, or if to make it easier, HoosiersForCentralTime.com/index.html. For those, you can actually, we have student online petitions and adult online petitions. For those that want to read this, you can. School should not start before 9:30 a.m. Indiana time zone white paper. Student safety, editorials, YouTube links, citizen feedback. I am going to read some testimonies. So this is Beth in Dubois County, confusion on the border. Hi, I'm a waitress in Jasper, Indiana, in the southwest part of the state. The part that always gets forgotten about, and we get a lot of summer business from visitors to Holiday World and Splash and Safari. They stay in the hotel right next door to us. Many of these visitors are from Tennessee, Illinois, and they've even had some from as far as Washington State. They all say the same thing when they come to visit. Whose stupid idea was it to have two different time zones in one state? And you mean to tell me that even though the park is only 30 minutes away, there is a 1 hour time change? That's the dumbest thing we ever heard. And it goes on and on. No wonder people think Hoosiers. I'm not going to say that. We can't make up our minds which time zones to be in. It is really insulting. The time change causes a problem for the guests in a bigger way. You see, there are no restaurants outside the park until you get to Jasper. The park closes at 9:30 Central Daylight Time, CDT, and it is a 30-minute drive back to the hotel and restaurant. Now it is 10 o'clock CDT. Following me so far? Jasper time is 11 p.m. EDT. And guess what? The restaurant closes at 11. So now mom and dad can't get a beer and the kids have to eat fast food again. Even though that's what they have been eating all day in the park, they can't sit down and have a nice meal in casual restaurant where they are welcomed even in their swimsuits. If Jasper were still on CDT, these customers would have plenty of time to sit and eat, and the restaurant's business would increase, which means more money for everyone. If not only affects the customers, we also have several employees who live in Central Time Zone called Slow Time here. And they have to leave their house, in effect 2 hours before their shift starts, for what is only a 45-minute drive. Can't imagine the chaos that causes in their households in the morning. Another point of interest is watching baseball on TV in the summer. Have you ever seen a game broadcast in the East Coast? Notice how at 9 p.m. EDT, it is still dark there and still light here even though our clocks read the same time. How can that be? It's ridiculous. One more thing I've noticed in the position of the sun. Remember how we were told in school that when the sun is directly overhead, it is 12 noon? Can't tell time by that anymore. The sundial may say noon, but our clocks say 1 p.m. Good thing the gunfights took place in the Old West and not current Indiana. Can you imagine a cowboy saying he'll fight you at high 1 o'clock? I think not. I think not. Indiana is not meant to be in Eastern Time Zone, known as fast time here. Not geographically, not mentally, not commercially, not safely. If there's anything I can do to get the movement started down here to change us back to Central Common Sense time, please let me know. I appreciate your efforts in listening to me rant. Thank you. I really like this testimony here. So right now, I did not expect this. Why is there not anyone? It just says 0. So I just finished reading a testimony for you guys, and I hope you. Oh, rats. I haven't been sharing my screen. Rats. Here we go. So this is. If you want to read these testimonies, I will put this in the link in the chat. If you want to copy some websites, just push Control C or Command C, whatever it is best for you, and Command C. There we go. Why is there not anyone? I'm not sure why. But I'm doing this now so we can continue this ICT movement, Indiana Central Time movement, and along with that, abolish daylight saving. But so if you guys want to, let me stop sharing my screen for a little bit. If you want to help me end daylight, if you want sorry. If you want to help me move Indiana back to its supposed central time zone, here's how you can do it. If you want to help me abolish daylight savings, that's great. But if you don't want to abolish daylight savings, that's okay too. Our main purpose is to get Indiana back to its natural time zone, which is Central Time, basically. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen again in a little bit. Oh, there we go. So this is the home page of the Indiana General Assembly website. So here you go to find your legislature, and here there is a street form that you have to put in for the exact location of your local legislature. So I'm going to put in my street address, city, state, and zip code. But before I do that for this form, I'm going to stop sharing real quick. There we go. I'm going to put in my street address here, my city. I know the state is Indiana, and I press search. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen here. Here, these are those are my legislatures. So if you can email them or call them and leave them a message tell them that you want Indiana back into in this natural time zone, Central Time, so that we can have a one-size-fits-all. If you don't want to end daylight savings, that is okay too. So with that, I'm going to answer some questions. So I need to start planning for live streams much better. Sorry for the background noise. Thanks for the like. Looks like I got one person on. Do you have a question with time zones or something like that? I can answer. Oh. That's just me. Alright. I'm going to end this live stream right now, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and if I want to or if I can answer them.